Congratulations to the previous inductees who are here with us tonight, and to the 3 newest additions joining you in this accomplishment. Congratulations, Kelsey and Rich, and my personal favorite inductee this year, graduate of class of 2002, the originator of the term booyah, and my little brother, Ed Hermes. When I heard Ed was being inducted into the Seton Catholic Hall of Fame, my first thought was, wow, I'm so glad mascots are finally getting the recognition they deserve. If you ever had the pleasure of seeing Eddie in that huge-headed costume, moonwalking to Smooth Criminal, or spinning on the ground on the aforementioned huge head, he's earned a nomination for that type of dedication alone. He even took those talents to ASU, where he was Sparky, the Sun Devil, for a few years. Yeah. My second thought was maybe Ed was being inducted because of his literal lifelong streak of perfect attendance in school. Elementary, junior high, high school, college, and law school.
Wow.
Never missed a day. When we planned our first family trip to Disneyland, we had to plan it around Ed not wanting to miss even a half a day of 4th grade. A heavily referenced piece of Hermes family lore was when Ed was in 1st grade, and he was too sick to go to school one day. Most kids would relish this type of luck. Little Price is Right, followed by hours of cartoons and movies, but not Ed. No, not Ed. Still wearing his pajamas, and while my dad was looking the other way, Ed snuck out of the house and into school. Some kids sneak out of school, and Hermes sneaks in. 1 Peter 4:10 through 11 says, "Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others, as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms." Ed Hermes uses all of his gifts and talents to serve others. He shows up. He shows up for the people who need him, for the people who don't have the voice or ability. And that is why Ed is being inducted today. It started when he was a little boy, and he has carried those talents and accomplishments with him throughout his life. If you know Ed, and chances are if you've been here longer than 5 minutes, I'm guessing you do, because he has never met a stranger, then you already know why he is being inducted tonight. And it isn't for perfect attendance or his breakdancing skills as a mascot. After Seton, Ed continued to hone his crafts and serve others. Ed is an extremely active member of his community, and as the chair of the City of Phoenix Vision Zero Street Transportation Committee, has made it his mission to make the streets safer for children and families. Whether it's on the news or from a bullhorn, Ed encourages the community to join him and make us believe that change is possible. He works tirelessly to educate and invite, and he has made a difference in so many lives. He serves on the Osborne School District Governing Board. He is the president of the Carnation Association of Neighbors. He was on the Arizona Board of Regents. He was one of the pro bono attorneys of the year in the United States in 2024, top 50 pro bono attorneys in the state of Arizona in 2024, and has received numerous awards within his law firm, and is the co-chair of the firm's Committee on Diversity, Inclusion, and Belonging. He is a difference maker, and he has earned every good thing that has come his way. Ed is filled with equal parts school spirit and the Holy Spirit, and we are blessed to call him ours. On behalf of our parents, John and Mary Hermes, his wife Noriana, their 2 daughters, Penelope and Valentina, and all those with us in spirit tonight, and on behalf of the Seton Catholic community, it is my distinct honor and privilege and joy to introduce my brother, Ed Hermes, into the 2025 Seton Catholic Hall of Fame.
Thank you so much. Give it up to Trish and Jesse, my sister. Wow, that was wonderful. It's so great to be here. I walked in and saw this photo. I go, who is that guy right here? I mean, same strong brow, definitely different hairline, but that is me. That was here at Seton, and it's so wonderful to be back. I want to first start by thanking my incredible wife, Noriana, and my kids, Penelope and Valentina. Yes, I could not do any of this work for the community without your love, without your support, without your patience. I also want to thank my parents, John and Mary, here today, as well as, and my family who came into town. My grandma Judy just moved here from Illinois, and I have my family, Tricia, my other sister Tiffany, Dr. E. Jackson, my Aunt Debbie. They flew in from the Midwest, so we're glad you're here safely. I really appreciate you being here today for this moment. Also really appreciate my friends over here, John G, Double A, aka Aaron Thuringer, Bjorn, Matt Baker, Joe Recker. Wonderful people who I've known for, gosh, my entire teens and adult life, and have always been there, stood by me. And we forged these friendships at Seton, and they're lifelong friendships that I'll have my entire life. I definitely did not ever think that I'd be getting an award from Seton. I didn't even get my high school diploma from Seton. Now, I graduated, graduated very, like my sister said, never missed a day of school, graduated at the top there, but I didn't actually get my diploma. The day, I was in a little bit of hot water going into high school graduation from some different mascot moves that were not appreciated by some folks. And then the day of graduation, the straw that broke the camel's back was I was getting my diploma. They called my name. Of course, my family let out a hearty booyah, of course. And then I decided it was a good idea to moonwalk up to the bishop at the time, Bishop Olmsted, to go get my diploma. I thought that was pretty cool. And Dr. Riley grabbed my hand when I shook it and pulled it in real tight, and he said, "Come see me after the ceremony." And, that was a bit of my punishment, was not getting the actual physical diploma. It wasn't until, 12 years later, when I was working as an attorney, and I had one of my law partners pull a few strings, Mr. Ryan, who had many contacts. The Ryan family had many, many contacts. Probably called Mrs. Collins over there. Yes, Pat Collins, our wonderful NHA, National Honor Society, NHS, advisor, of course, principal later on. And so thank you, Mrs. Collins, for releasing my diploma to me. I appreciate having done enough to earn that diploma. When I started volunteering, I never imagined recognition like this. I just wanted to help people and to show up where I could. And show up for others the way that so many of my friends in our community have shown up for me. Seton didn't just prepare me academically. It gave us the moral foundation and a sense of purpose. It taught us that it's important to use our gifts, and that our gifts don't mean very much unless we use them to serve others. Our U.S. history teacher, Mr. Clinch, he didn't just teach us about how the government works. He taught us about how to be an active participant in the government. How he made us believe that ordinary people could shape their community, could shape history by serving their community. Our calculus teacher, Mr. Myers, he didn't just teach us equations. He taught us patience, perseverance, and compassion. Mr. Nache, our religion teacher, he taught me that faith is more than a belief, it's action. And he showed me how to lift others up, no matter their background. Through Seton, I came to truly understand and value the meaning of Matthew 25:35. For I was hungry, you gave me food. For I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. For I was a stranger, you welcomed me. When I was a prisoner, you visited me. And here, in these walls at Seton, I learned that as our privilege and our ability grows, so does our obligation to feed the hungry, to visit the sick, to be with the imprisoned, to welcome those from other lands. And in today's world, it's really easy to turn away from suffering, to stay in our comfort zones, to stay in our bubble. But what I learned here at Seton is that we're called to do the opposite, to seek out those who are struggling, to be with and to bear witness with those who are hungry and who are struggling, and stand beside them. One of the most powerful moments in my life here at Seton came during a service project. I was with my brother, and we went down to the Andre House, as a lot of folks did back then. It was Holy Thursday, so we went down not just to serve meals, but also to wash feet. And I'll never forget a couple that came through the line, and they saw me, and they began to cry. And I asked them, you know, what's wrong? What did I do? Just the look at my face made them cry. And they said, parece como nuestro hijo. And I was in Mrs. Cambone's Spanish class, so luckily I knew what that meant. He said, you look like our son. You look just like our son. And we spoke, we talked, and I said, look, of course I'm not your son, but I'm here for you. I'm here, here's a fresh pair of socks, here's some food, here's a meal, here's a hug, and, you know, I'll be praying for you and your family as they made their journey for a better life. Those were the kind of opportunities that I had here at Seton that shaped my life forever and made me the person that I am. It made me realize that night that when we give, we receive far more. We receive perspective, gratitude, and a deeper understanding of what it means to serve. We grow when we step outside of what's comfortable. When we spend time with people who have different experiences that are different than our own. So I challenge all of us here tonight, alumni, students, parents, to find a way to see and to serve those in most need, to spend time and bear witness to those who are unhoused, who are hungry, who are imprisoned, or who are fearful because of where they were born. And you'll discover, as I did, that when you serve others, you're not just changing their life, you're transforming your own. This award today isn't just a reflection of my work. It's a reflection of what happens when a community's a spirit of compassion, of faith, and of service. I'm deeply honored to accept this recognition today, not for myself, but for everyone who believes that our faith calls us to love boldly, serve humbly, and act justly. Thank you so much to my family, to my teachers, to our fellow Seton Sentinels who are here today for this incredible community that taught me what it truly means to serve. Thank you so much. God bless. And of course, booyah.
Pong tournament, and we had it in the cafeteria, or whatever they call it.
Cafeteria.
And Ed helped round up ping pong tables, and they would go out and collect the ping pong tables from people's homes and bring them into the cafeteria, and then they organized all the different brackets and everything, and it was great fun. It really was. Kids had a great time, and I used to think, oh, wouldn't it be nice to have a space to have that? So I'm hoping with the new building, we'll be able to put that in, because that it really is necessary to have more than just, you know, sports kids. Okay, so I'm gonna have to put this way. I have a soft voice. It takes a special person, a person with patience and wisdom to share in the unlocking of the times and talents and treasures awaiting within any given group situation. And it is my honor to give you just a bit of what makes Rich Seton such a person. I have used weaving as an analogy when referring to the structure of a school many times. The warp, the weft, the threads are the threads that are building blocks of any woven fabric. Their arrangement is what gives the textile its unique characteristics. The interaction of these threads determines the fabric's overall appearance, strength, and flexibility. The weft is pulled through the warp via a shuttle. This is like the structure of an educational institution. The loom is the living frame, the mission. Students, teachers, and all who are connected to the school all work together to weave the strands, achieving the school's mission. We are a mission-driven entity. Throughout Rich's more than 20-year tenure with Seton, let me make sure I'm on the right page, through Seton, Rich Seton has taken on more than one part of helping our fulfill our mission to provide the fabric which is made up of Seton's Catholic faith, the community, the courageous leaders, loving servants, and determined learners who strive for academic excellence. As you read through your program, you see that Rich was a parent when first introduced to the Seton community. Rich was a member of the Booster Club. He worked Karen Self's 3-on-3 tournaments. He helped the girls' basketball team, and back then he did an awful lot of driving as a parent, and he drove the basketball team. He did coaching of the basketball team during the summer, and he also helped with the golf tournament. He became a robotics club volunteer and donated funds to get the group started. Rich has continued to lend financial support when and where he sees fit and need. Once on the Seton Catholic Advisory Board and later on the Seton Board of Trustees, Rich played a role in our hiring processes by serving as a parent member in the hiring committee. He was a supporter of various funding projects, and above all, Rich was instrumental in supporting Seton through parent organizations and working with fellow parents. This used to be a 12 font. I'm now up to 20. He worked with his fellow parents to further our mission in weaving the fabric of Seton. I personally want to thank Rich for his calm demeanor, his patience and support, so instrumental in assisting me in personnel matter. As I strung the loop, or the hoops and the loops in the shuttle that went through to make that fabric, it was people like Rich that stood behind me and helped me. I'm a firm believer that God will answer prayers by sending the people most needed to help mediate the situation. One such person was sent in answer to my prayers. When I was a new principal, Rich Sataki was there. Rich's impact on Seton Catholic Prep has been deep and is long-lasting. Thank you. You don't do this very often. It's like a whole new experience.
Well, you know, one thing Pat would always be upset with me about is she would say, "What are you going to say?" whenever I was going to do a presentation. And I'd say, "I don't know. I wait until I get there and then see how it comes out." So, that being the case, I'm going to start backwards. I'm going to thank you for this award. Although I have to tell you, I feel like I'm getting it under fraudulent terms, because when you think of somebody doing volunteer work, you think they're going out, they're doing things that are difficult, they're doing things to help others. But I don't feel that way when I do things around Seton Catholic, because I have friends here. I look out, I see Tony, I see Joe, I see Sal and Rindy, I see all these people. This is my community. And I often say, I am kind of the reverse Catholic in a sense. I went to public schools all along, then I went to Notre Dame, and then I went to the University of Dayton School of Law. So I got my Catholic education kind of at the end, and maybe that's why I remember it better sometimes than some other people, I don't know. But I do have to tell you that I couldn't do any of the stuff I am able to do and take part in here without my family. So my wife Marie, I want to thank you very much for putting up with me leaving and saying, I have to work on this golf tournament today. It's a big thing for Seton. And then my children are here. Micah, who got me into robotics. And I have to tell you, if you've never been to a robotics competition, you need to go. Because I thought I was going to go there and there would be all these kids who were going to be engineers and they would be super studious and into it. And when the first time I went, it was at Veterans Memorial Coliseum. And I hear all this noise while I'm still in the parking lot. And I'm thinking, I'm in the wrong place. This can't be the robotics competition. But instead, I walk in, and every team is rooting for every other team. They're all dressed in bright colors, and it was one of the most amazing events I've ever been to. So I have to thank Micah for that. He got me to see robotics. Now, next to him is my daughter, Caitlin. People may say, Caitlin didn't go to Seton Catholic. But there's a good reason for that, and I explained it to Pat long ago. Caitlin wanted to be in an orchestra, and at the time, Seton didn't have it. So I must say, I did use that as an excuse to work on other things at Seton, so Marie would say, it's okay then. And then my oldest daughter, Megan, she is a perfect example of a Seton student. And I'll give you an idea, because when Pat was the principal, she would let me do some talks, like at the beginning of the year, and talk to new parents. And one thing I said one time is, you need to look around the room. And everybody's going, okay, but why do we do that? I said, you know, the people sitting right over there may be your future in-laws. And I say that because Megan married one of her classmates, Pat Sullivan. And it was shocking to me when I first found out they were dating, because I remember her saying when he was at school, he was not a serious student. He would come to school and have a can of Dr. Pepper with him. How could he do that? That was against the rules. But it has turned out to be great. And I now, for my two daughters, have 7 grandsons. So I get to live my life of going back to sports and doing those things. And that brings me to another thing I wanted to convey. You know, when I was a kid, I was absolutely convinced that I was going to play for the New York Yankees. You probably don't know, but I didn't fulfill that dream. But part of the dream was that after I play, I will have been such a great player, I'll make people forget Mickey Mantle, that I would be in the Hall of Fame. And I didn't make it to the Baseball Hall of Fame, but now I can say I'm in the Seton Hall of Fame. And that is really exciting. So I want to thank everybody for helping me fulfill this lifelong dream, sort of. And I appreciate you all being here, because I know if you're here, you're part of the Seton community, and that makes us all one big community. So thank you very much. I do appreciate it.
First, I wanted to say congrats to Ed and Rich. It's truly an honor. You know, Kelsey always brags about being the best athlete in the class, and now she's in the Hall of Fame, so I get to hear about that every day, you know? So if you don't know, in high school, we really only had one picture together, and that was in the yearbook. And so the picture was we were both the best athletes in our class. At the time, I thought, you know, we were pretty even. Well, clearly Kelsey was a better athlete. So at Seton Catholic, she led the softball team to 2 state championships. And so her junior and senior back-to-back state championships, as Mr. Mullen knows there. And then she started her career at the University of Pacific, where she was named Big Freshman of the Year, earned her first team All Big West twice, and then she was All Pacific Region second team as well. She then transferred to the University of Arizona, and at that point it was due to her dad becoming sick. And so she did that to be closer with her family. And so at the University of Arizona, again, she continued her success, but she was voted the All-Decade team for University of Arizona. First team All Pac-12, Pac-12 Scholar Athlete of the Year, which is quite the honor for a very large university. And then after college, she decided to play for Team Mexico in 2015 as well to add to the resume. After her playing days were done though, she decided to go to the Grand Canyon University and was a coach there for the team and led them to their first WAC championship in 2017. But after playing days were done, and all the honors, she continued to be amazing in everything that she's done. And so it just shows how driven, loyal, hardworking, and the kind person that she is. And you know, she's still competitive as ever. And so, as you can imagine, it makes it very exciting for my life when it comes to playing pickleball, where she keeps trying to beat me, but you know, as she's laughing uncontrollably while playing. And then when we're lifting weights, making me lift more weight because she's lifting heavy weights all the time. So it's always a challenge for me to keep up with her. So the fire has not gone anywhere in her life. I cannot be prouder to call her my wife and you know, take her rightful place in the Seton Catholic Hall of Fame. Please join me in congratulating the one and only Kelsey Rodriguez-Gillespie.
Good evening, everyone. To the administrators, the incredible faculty, current students, friends, family, and fellow inductees, it is truly an honor to be standing here tonight. When I first walked through the doors of Seton, I never imagined a moment like this. To be inducted into the Hall of Fame is humbling, and I accept this recognition with immense gratitude. Looking back, my time here wasn't just defined by one field or one classroom. It was defined by trying to live life in the hyphen, the student athlete. That combination, the pursuit of excellence on the court, the field, and in the classroom, became the blueprint for everything I've done since leaving these halls. Sports taught me the value of teamwork, resilience, and picking yourself up after a tough loss. I want to thank my coaches, especially Coach Mullen, for pushing me past the limits I set for myself. But the locker room lessons were always balanced by the library lessons as well. I want to thank teachers like Dr. Krings, who showed me that discipline in study is just as important as discipline in training. They taught me how to think critically and how to learn, and that foundation has opened up more doors than any single achievement ever could. I also want to thank Seton for recognizing that women's sports do matter. No one achieves this type of success alone. I want to specifically thank the people whose support was constant. To my parents, who made so many sacrifices to send me to Seton. The long drives with my mom to California. And the late nights in the batting cage with my dad. I am forever grateful. My sister Courtney, who always pushed me to do better and was always willing to stay early or late to hit balls. And my brother Ryan, despite never playing baseball, would go and play catch when I needed to get my reps in. Your unconditional belief in me fueled this journey. And to my amazing husband, Trevor, who walked these halls alongside me. You not only understood the pressure of balancing academics and athletics here, but you continue to be my greatest teammate in life. Thank you for your unwavering support, your patience, and for always being my biggest fan. It means the world to share this history and this life with you. Thank you to the entire Seton community. This institution doesn't just produce talented individuals, it fosters well-rounded people. I am proud to be a graduate. Finally, to the current students of Seton, especially those balancing intense schedules, don't let anyone tell you that you have to choose. You can be a great athlete and a great student. The discipline required for one fuels the success of the other. The greatest gift this school gave me was the understanding that hard work is transferable. Apply yourself fiercely to everything you do. Thank you again for this incredible honor, and once a Sentinel, always a Sentinel.